Yeah, we ain't had all the commitments Florida got, man. Shout out to Backyard Billy and the rest of the gang. Buckshot Billy.
Who got a
Nah.
Billy?
Shout out to Billy, man. It was
That's a
funny. I was
killer
talking
whip
to a
out
guy at the
game.
bar the other night. He started recently listening in to us in Stadium and Gale, and he was like, I told him, I was like, now Billy was my number 2 pick. He was like, oh really? I was like, man, listen, I'm gonna keep it real. You have to look at the possibilities of who was out there, and I thought he was a good candidate. So I'm not surprised by some of the success he's having, early on right now, and especially at least on the recruiting trail. We'll see, see if they hold on and build upon it. We'll see how that goes. That's everybody though. So, yeah, we did get a commitment though. 4-star running back Kevin Riley, according to the composite, number 6 running back in the nation. He decided to go ahead and commit. I did have him on commit watch from the last time we did record. Justin Scott was my other guy that I thought Mike would, but he hadn't quite made a decision yet. His situation's still a little up in the air. Depends on who you talk to. But back to Riley. Really good gear here. Some guys are kind of comparing them. I thought it was I saw a Lamar Miller comparison. I don't know if he got that extra gear like Lamar,
Lamar got
but
that crazy top end speed.
yeah, I don't know if he quite got that. But a good take on. So yeah, good addition there. That gives us 2 running backs in the class. Gibson did decide to go ahead and commit to Texas. I
Jarrett Gibson.
Yeah, Jared Gibson. Sorry, yeah, that was a guy that he kind of at a point. I did find where I said he had like his. He kind of narrowed it down to 3. I found that, but I can't remember it now. But yeah, ultimately he decided to go to Texas, which was the leader the whole time. I thought they did a good job getting into the fight, giving them something to think about. Like I say, he's at IMG, so there's a lot of IMG ties on the roster right now. But ultimately, he decided to go ahead and go to Texas. And they just had another 4-star commit running back.
Yeah, the kid we was at after Christian Clark out of Arizona. Tashard Choice, he's doing a hell of a
He's
job
doing a good
putting
job.
running
Yeah,
backs out there in Texas.
Well, that's what comes
yeah,
right. Tashard Choice out there.
Yeah, remember
yeah,
the
yeah,
running back from
I
Georgia
think they
Tech.
got him from Georgia Tech.
Elite
Yeah, they
waiver
ended up
wire
plugging him
pickup
from
in
over
my
there.
fantasy days, man.
Yeah, yes, Tashard was a nice player.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, shout out to the job they did over there. So
That set the best for
that's
last year as well too.
that'll probably be, I imagine, our running backs for this cycle. Unless you can get, if you feel like you can get back in the door later on with a guy like Gibson. If you feel like there's a crack in the door, but I think they'll be comfortable going with Riley and Huntley, Wheatley, or whatever. Excuse me, sorry. As the running back haul for this particular cycle. I mentioned Dustin Scott, like I said just a second ago. He's a recruitment. He's the 5-star kid out of Chicago. It really depends on who you're talking to. Some people up in the Northwest think he's a good chance he'll stay up there. Guys like Will Fong and a couple others think that Miami's still kind of in the leader, kind of the leader in that recruitment right now. So obviously there's a little bit of a little disconnect and maybe the information they're getting on that one.
Man, don't start that D line with him, man. Y'all say y'all was gonna get a D line haul now.
I mean, it ain't a whiff yet. I don't. I mean, depends on who you want to believe. That's what I was saying. I don't know.
What's
I have no idea. He clearly enjoys Miami, but so we'll see.
That's easy to do, baby. It's nice out there.
Very easy. So we'll see. Because it's still kind of, I'm still kind of hearing Ohio State really not the business for him. But there was a time where Notre Dame was considered leader, maybe not so much. Now I'm hearing a little noise about they could be back in it with Michigan. So if you were to ask me today, I would say the top 3
Pretty
would
much
be
what
Notre
you're
Dame.
saying is just Midwest.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It depends on what experts you talk to.
Yeah.
Fong still think he's coming down south. It was somebody else that thought he was coming down south.
Does he have a date? Announcement date?
No, he doesn't have a date just yet. So yeah, like I said, it just depends on who you who you tend to believe a little bit more in this recruitment. I would say, yeah, the top three would be Notre Dame, Miami, and Michigan right now.
Okay, okay.
I don't fear that particular recruitment. I still think we're in good position with that one. So, another
Well,
defensive
from the
lineman came
Midwest to
down.
Miami, that is a crazy trio. Now that you say that, CJ.
Oh, typically, I mean, just like I said about
And he's from
the Wyatt
Chicago,
Gilmore
man.
kid that we brought in, he already made a commitment to Oklahoma. So I said then I was like, I mean, they like him, but we were the only school that wasn't in that range. The thing I do like about us is he's a Chicago kid, so he's a city kid to begin with. So the transition wouldn't be quite as extreme as it is for some of these guys that live in some of these smaller cities and towns out there in the Midwest. So I
Yeah, I
knew
guess.
when the Wyatt Gilmore kid came, I knew that was like a respect visit. I was like, that kid he's not coming. And I just saw the other day, he committed to Oklahoma. So that's this guy's a recruitment. I still feel good about it. I don't think it's over with yet. And a lot of these guys that we're recruiting right now, these guys are, it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a bidding war, seeing what business is. Trying to move the number up, even if they want
That
to go to
should that
Miami.
should be easy work for y'all, right?
I mean, it's all negotiations, right?
I thought that was
It's
y'all
all.
bad. I thought that was y'all bad though. That part of it.
Y'all don't have no money.
I thought that was about y'all. I
No,
thought
but
that
I'm
was
asking,
y'all
do y'all not
bad.
have money? Why is
That was
it's
the old
hard for
Tays,
y'all?
huh? That was the old Tays, huh?
Is that hard for y'all? No, I'm just asking.
Hey, what my boy
There's no
said,
reports. There's no reports that Miami doesn't have NIL money.
man,
There's no
shit, this was
reports
the
of that.
old days.
No, I'm talking about today. I'm asking you today.
Well, think
Is the
the
Sphinx
old
money
days.
dropping? But anyways, back to some recruiting stuff. Let's see. So yeah, Scott will to be continued on that recruitment. Still feel good in that one. Kamarion Franklin, the other 5-star defensive lineman, he doubled back down. He canceled that LSU visit, so I guess he just ultimately decided that wasn't really a school he was interested in. You remember I brought up earlier, I thought there had to be somewhere in there if he decided he still want to take an OV there. He was supposed to go, then he canceled and pulled up. We had Legends camp, so he pulled up to Legends camp, and he worked out with Jason Taylor. Nothing super crazy. Some light work, getting some tips. Get some ideas on how he would be coached if he were to come to Miami and play under Jason Taylor. So that was a positive sign for us. Most signs still point to us in Tennessee. It's kind of the two leaders in that recruitment. Again, probably looking at that NIL stuff again. You'll be looking at
Tennessee
some
took that
bags
thing
again in
too.
that situation. So yeah, that was. I think he was only pretty much down for the camp. Did a little working out and got out of there. Because the camp was, the camp is the same deal. Basically, you got all the legends come in. I'm not rattling off all those names. It's the same usual suspect. Couple new people. Chicolo was out there. Duke Johnson. But some of your regulars, Bryant McKinney, Brandy Merriweather, a litany of Miami legends basically came through and did the legends camp, and that's usually for the underclassmen essentially. So you don't get a lot of 2024 guys or guys within that cycle that actually come through. We had a few commits come through, and then like I said, Kamarion Franklin came through as well. Staying along the defensive line, 4-star Artavius Jones came through, kid out of Bluntstown. He he projects probably be an interior defensive lineman. Um, Talking about possibly a July commitment. Things went really well there. I think it's down to let's see, Illinois, UCF, Wisconsin, FSU, and Tennessee,
Mm.
as well as us. So they made a great impression with that particular. Not a whole lot of work down in the O line. 3-star interior offensive lineman Zuri Madison. He came down, and basically now he's out of Kentucky area. It is now down to us in Arkansas. I think he has a commitment. Yeah, his commitment's coming up, I believe, next week. And we kind of both in the same boat. You know, he liked Pittman, because Pittman's an O-line coach. Same thing with Mario, O-line coach. So we just got to kind of battle that one out. A new name on the board at cornerback. I think it's Romanus Frederick Jr. From St. Thomas Aquinas. He committed to West Virginia right now. He's a flip candidate. He's a guy that they like, just his size and length. He's another one of these taller, taller kids with a long wingspan, with a wide wingspan. Excuse me. Let's see. Who else? Jalen Hayward. I'm sorry, Jalen Hayward. Another kid we looking at. He's out of Rockledge, right around the corner from me. They still saying the right things about UGA. He's been on campus quite a bit though. And I think part of it may end up coming down to how UGA views him. I don't know if they still see him as a safety. I know we view him as a corner. So I kind of feel like if UGA sells him as corner, they'll probably be able to hold on to him. If he's not totally in that they believe that, I think we look real good in that recruitment. So I think that'll ultimately.
What does he want to play?
I think he wants to play corner.
Okay.
Yeah. I think corner is his preferred position. And you gotta remember, UGA had those safeties locked up as well. So I think that's why it becomes a little bit murkier. Like, well, if y'all want me as safety, then I'm not as interested. If you want me at corner, then maybe we got a little more to discuss. Zay Mincy came on down as well. He's a guy that I think we've all talked about. Cornerback wants to play corner. They kind of let him know he can play a couple of positions in the secondary.
I've been telling y'all for a minute, it's corner for him.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what they tell him. Cornerback stars is kind of the vibes he's getting from Miami. He said the NIL is going to factor in, so it's business for him as well. He got a final of, let's see, Miami, FSU, UF, Tennessee, and Bama. No date set just yet, so kind of supposed to be going to sit down with the folks and chop it up a little bit more.
Feed his ass these Shannon Snell ribs in it.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see. 4-star wide receiver Ja'Cory Barney. I'm sorry.
I like him.
He's a guy that, he rolls up on our radar quite a bit. You got like a Nebraska crystal ball. A&M was considered a school that was in there. We got in late, but all signs are saying that's not been a bad thing in this particular recruitment. You don't necessarily feel slighted by that, and we did a good job in getting in this recruitment and at least getting his attention and giving him something to think about.
So he was gonna be one of the ones that got away and be like, how we let this kid get
away? How he sneak out? Yeah, I heard he was killing shit out there at that 7-on-7, man. It was like,
I like him.
Eyes open, no more sleeping on cuz. So and I think that's all I really got, I believe.